Okay, gentlemen. How are you today? Great to see you.
Good to see you too.
Good stuff. This was riveting. First of all, thank you for all the stuff that you've given us, because I am such a big fan of both of yours and all the things that you have given us in the past of these documentaries. And I'm not even gonna start bowing down for RuPaul's Drag Race, because it's like my favorite show ever. But this is so compelling, so phenomenal. Fenton, let's just start with you. How did you guys hook up with Ronan to get this all going?
Well, Randy and I had read the book. We loved the book, but it was HBO who came to us kind of early on in the pandemic and said, you know about the podcast, and we're like, yes. And they said, well, we actually made tapes of when he did the interviews, and we're like, oh my gosh, you're kidding. And it's like, yeah, we don't really know what to do with them, and would you take a look at them? And we were like, yes. And I think seeing those tapes was such a reckoning for us. These women were so powerful, and you could what seeing them on camera gave you, that just hearing their voices or reading their transcripts, seeing them, it was so emotional. It was just really emotionally powerful.
Yeah.
And we were like, this is an amazing story, a story of how you get to tell this story, and it's a journey that's filled with twists and turns. It's you think with Amber Gutierrez wearing the wire for the police,
yeah,
you think that's the end of it. Like, of course, caught on tape, arrest him, put him on trial, lock him up, done.
Yeah.
And it was just the beginning of this long journey, and the outcome was by no means assured. So
yeah, that's for sure. And Randy, it's funny because I've listened to the podcast. I read Ronan's book. It's so good. The guy is such a genius. He really is. And it amazes me, though, all these amazing women who did come forth. But it's one thing to be on an audio podcast. It's another thing to show your face. Did you guys have any difficulty with that, going to get the permission from these women saying, I don't know if I want to be seen?
I think that, really Ronan facilitated that. And I think that once they agreed to be in the podcast, that was them stepping forward. I mean, he's the one who really actually, I think that's the wrong word. They're the ones who made the decision. Yeah. Once they decided to speak out, whether it was for his article or whether it was for his podcast, I think there's no turning back from that point. That's one of the reasons why I think the series is so powerful, because you really get to look at these women and realize that, it's not just about speaking out once and then moving forward. This is something they have carried with them forever, will carry with them forever.
That's right.
And, hopefully by speaking out and participating in this, they help move the conversation. They help make it more difficult for people to commit these kinds of crimes in the future.
Yeah, let's hope. That's for sure. If we haven't learned anything over the last few years, my goodness, I really hope people get it from watching this series that you guys have done. Fenton, why do you think people are so ready and open to talk to Ronan and just bare their souls to him? And he's shown it over and over again. He's such a brilliant young man, but it's not just brilliance. I mean, what is it about him?
Gee, that's a really good question. We should ask him what his secret sauce is, because he is brilliant in that way. Absolutely. I mean, I also think, though, it's all part of this groundswell or a sea change, and a feeling that in the cult, enough is enough, and I think that it's no accident that this Harvey Weinstein story would have been so triggering in creating the Me Too movement. Yeah. And I think it's based on a rising dissatisfaction and lots of people just saying this can't go on, and I think that So I think it fits with a larger tidal movement, not to take anything away from Ronan's ability to get people to talk. Sure. But I also think at the same time, you've got to acknowledge the bravery of those people, of the whistleblowers themselves speaking out, because it is at a cost. What Dr. Blasey Ford went through in the Supreme Court hearing was, is sobering. Who wants to put themselves under that kind of scrutiny and expose themselves to that kind of hatred and pushback? So it really does take tremendous courage. But hopefully the examples of these examples and the examples of people previously will all add to this groundswell of like, enough is enough,
Yeah, I would just add something to that, because I do think, Ronan is a truth warrior. Right. And I think he has this unusual or unique combination of like compassion and empathy that you can just feel, that's genuine and authentic, that combined with this intellectual clarity. I think that it's just there. And I think that sort of creates this level of trust. I do think that he's not there just for the story. And I think this story demonstrates it, because if he was there, like, look how long it took. Look at what he had to do, what he was up against. The story, is about the whistleblowers, but it's also a story about the state of investigative journalism today.
100%.
And how difficult it is, the challenge of telling the truth in the world we live in today.
Well, yeah.
So I do think that Ronan has this, he's created this, well, he hasn't created it, just authentically is someone who fights for the truth, and you can feel that in him.
Yeah, he really does. Just amazing. I love reading anything he writes. He's brilliant, honestly. I can't imagine working with the man. You guys, like I said, have done so many great things. I have to go back to the RuPaul Drag Race again. I'm sorry, I'm just obsessed with it. Did you ever think that when you worked on that for the first time that it was going to become such a worldwide phenomenon?
No.
Take it.
You always hope, don't you, that everything's going to do well, but you never know. But Randy, Randy.
No, I would just say we always knew that RuPaul would be a worldwide phenomenon.
Yeah.
RuPaul is at the heart of the success of that show.
No question.
It's his, RuPaul, Ronan, they have a lot in common, actually. But Ru is, there's this heart and kindness, and then there is, this sassiness, and there's this combination of the two. That the success of that show has to do with people falling in love with the drag queens, and the reason that people fall in love with the drag queens is because he creates that safe space that and has helped people have those personal connections.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think Ronan needs to be a judge on that show, so just throw that out there for him, okay?
We can't say.
I caught that. I love it. Okay, now you have another doc series coming out in August, Small Town News. Fenton, just give us a little brief, synopsis of that. That sounds so cool. How did you find these people?
It's set in an independent news station, local news station in Pahrump, which is a small town about just outside of Vegas, an hour outside of Vegas. 40 minutes outside of Vegas. And we first came upon the station back in 2007 or 6 when we were making a documentary about Heidi Fleiss. Wow. Funnily enough, for HBO. It was called Heidi Fleiss, the would-be Madam of Crystal.
Yes.
She had moved to Pahrump, where she was going to open an all-male brothel, a brothel where women could go and hire male prostitutes. And long story short, the brothel never really happened. But in the course of making the film, she did an interview, and that's when we met Vern and Rhonda of KVPM. And fell in love with them. And Randy has carried a torch ever since to make this series. So it's so exciting. It's so exciting. And I suppose both, you know, obviously Catch and Kill and Small Town News are very different.
Yes.
But they are both about individuals you know, doing battle in a world of sort of corporatized world of where, you know, it's bigger and bigger institutions, but ultimately, you know, even in that world, it still comes down to people.
Yes.
And
yes.
the chutzpah of individuals and the bravery of individuals and the authenticity of individuals. That's what both series, I would say, have in common.
Well, congratulations on both series, and thank you again for everything that you guys do. I just love all of your documentaries, and you know, come visit us in Canada when the borders open. Okay.
Oh yes, can't wait to come back.
I really
yes.
do.
Oh, Canada.
Are you on the West Coast in Canada? Or
I'm on the East Coast. We're getting these programs here in Canada on the Crave network. So I'm
all right. Yeah, Drag Race Canada season 2 is coming.
That's true. Thank you. Yes, can't wait. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Bonnie.
guys. Thanks for your time. Take care. Bye-bye.